दोस्तों वेलकम टू मैकेडमी। इस वीडियो में हम लोग विस्कोसिटी के बारे में बात करेंगे। विस्कोसिटी इज़ ए कैरेक्टरिस्टिक ऑफ ए फ्लोइंग लिक्विड या फ्लोइंग फ्लूइड। विस्कोसिटी a characteristic of a flowing fluid. Viscosity is a characteristic of a flowing fluid. If there is no motion of the fluid, there is no viscosity. Viscosity doesn't come into picture until and unless the fluid, liquid or gas is flowing. No motion, no viscosity come into picture. If it is flowing, then there will be viscosity. It is a characteristic of a flowing fluid. No motion, no viscosity. Comes into picture. तो हमने जाना ये कि विस्कोसिटी एक कैरेक्टरिस्टिक है जो कि फ्लो कर रहा है फ्लूइड। जो भी फ्लूइड फ्लो कर रहा है, फ्लूइड मतलब लिक्विड भी हो सकता है या तो गैस भी हो सकता है। जो भी हो, अगर फ्लो कर रहा है देन वहाँ पे विस्कोसिटी रोल प्ले करेगा। नो विस्कोसिटी, नो मोशन, नो विस्कोसिटी कम इनटू पिक्चर। It is resistance to flow. 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 It is something related to thickness. It is something related to thickness. More thick means more viscosity. A fluid or a liquid which is more thick, it will possess more viscosity. It is resistance to flow. It represents resistance to flow. It is something related to thickness. More thick, more viscosity. ये चारों पॉइंट क्लियर है। इट इज a characteristic of a flowing fluid. अगर मोशन नहीं है तो नहीं होगा विस्कोसिटी। इट रिप्रेजेंट्स द रेजिस्टेंस टू फ्लो। कोई फ्लूइड हो, लिक्विड या गैस, फ्लो कर रहा है और उसको रोका जा रहा है, और वो उसके लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल कौन है? विस्कोसिटी है। जैसे कि एक अगर सॉलिड सरफेस है और यहाँ पे एक सॉलिड बॉडी है, इसको मैंने अगर कोशिश किया खींचने की, फोर्स लगाया इसमें, तो हमने रियलाइज़ किया कि इस साइड में ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन में एक फोर्स लगता है, दैट इज फ्रिक्शन फोर्स। तो फ्रिक्शन फोर्स है जो कि सरफेस के दोनों बॉडी के बीच में है, और इट इज ट्राइंग टू oppose the motion. It is acting against the force. Similarly, in case of fluid, in case of liquid, or in case of gas, when it is made to flow, there will be some resistance force which will be acting on that fluid and which will try to oppose the motion. So it is something related to thickness. Suppose I have a glass of honey. I have a glass of honey. I have a glass of honey, and also I have a glass of water. I have a glass of honey and I have a glass of water, and I throw the water from the glass on the ground, on the floor, and I see that it will go a far distance, go to a far distance. It will go to a far distance. I have a glass of honey and I have a glass of water. I throw the water from the glass on the ground, on the surface, and what I see is that it goes to a far distance. I also throw the honey from the glass with the same force, and what I see is that it is very shocking. It does not go up to that distance as water went. Not able to go to the distance. Sorry, someone came to my room, so I got a little bit disturbed. So मैं कहाँ पे था? हाँ. So I have a glass of water and glass of honey. I throw both of them. I see that the honey is not able to go up to that distance covered by the water. The honey molecules are resisted. The honey molecules are resisted. The honey molecules are resisted to go far by its own molecules. By its own molecules. The honey molecules are not able to go to a far distance as covered by the water. As the distance covered by the water, the honey molecules are resisted by its other molecules. The honey molecules are resisted by honey molecules are resisted by other molecules, other honey molecules. Molecules of honey are resisted by other honey molecules. That is why it is not able to go up to the distance that is covered by water. So this resistance we call viscosity. This resistance force This resistance force this resistance is called viscosity. This resistance is called viscosity, because of which the honey molecules are not able to go further. This resistance is called viscosity, because of which the honey molecules are not able to go far, or honey molecules are resisted by other molecules. This property, this resistance, is called viscosity. So now we know the viscosity. This is ultimately a resistance force that is applied against the motion of the fluid flow. It is the resistance force that is developed. It is developed because that is developed to resist the flow, or developed against the motion of the fluid flow. So this is viscosity. It can also be defined as that viscosity is something because of which one layer resists another layer. Viscosity is something because of which one layer of a fluid resists another layer when the fluid is when the fluid is in motion. More appropriately, we can say that viscosity is something because of which the motion is resisted. The motion of that fluid is resisted. Or we can say viscosity is something because of which one layer resists another layer when the fluid is in motion. It tries to hold the flow. It tries to reduce the velocity of the it tries to reduce the motion or velocity of the fluid. To understand viscosity quantitatively, we need to understand velocity gradient first. So let me tell about velocity gradient. To understand viscosity in a quantitative manner, or more appropriately, we need to understand velocity gradient. Suppose this is a solid boundary. Let me draw properly. So this is a solid boundary. And suppose a liquid is coming, or suppose water is coming from this direction. So earlier the velocity profile was like this, means velocity of a molecule at bottom and top or anywhere was same. As soon as they touch the molecule solid boundary, they come to the solid boundary, the bottommost layer, the molecules of the bottommost layer, means this here the molecules are stopped. Why? Because of friction between the molecules and the solid boundary. It seems that the solid boundary is very smooth. but if we see microscopically, it will be seen like this. So when the molecules, which is very tiny, makes contact with this, because of this roughness, the molecules at the bottommost layer, they lose momentum after collision with these peaks, right? So they lose momentum, and ultimately, continuously they lose momentum, and ultimately they come to rest. So the velocity of the bottommost layer becomes zero, and because the velocity at the bottommost layer is zero, so they are stopped here, and the molecules just above it, suppose this is another layer, this is another layer of water molecules, and because this is stopped, bottommost layers is small, stopped, and what it does is, these molecules of this layer, suppose this is the first layer and this is the second layer. So what it does is that this first layer try to reduce the velocity of the second layer. I am repeating, the first layer of molecules try to hold back the molecules of the second layer, because of viscosity, because of the molecular attraction, because of the cohesive force, the molecules of the first layer trying to hold back the molecules of the secondary layer. So velocity of the secondary layer is somewhat reduced, but it cannot stop, because it got certain pressure difference or shear force, because of which it is flowing, but the velocity is reduced somewhat. Again, the second layer will try to stop the molecules of the third layer, Why? Because of the same reason, because of the cohesive force, in this case because of the molecular attraction, but it will not be able to reduce the velocity up to very much, but it will reduce somewhat. And in this similar fashion, this third layer will try to resist the motion, and as a result reduce the velocity of the fourth layer, and so on. And the topmost layer will have the velocity almost equal to the free stream velocity, that is this velocity, almost this velocity, but the layers or molecules, water molecules below it will have different velocity, and it will decrease in downward direction, and it will have zero velocity at the contact of the boundary of the solid boundary. So if I go from this boundary in upward direction, then I see increase in velocity. If I go in upward direction from the solid boundary, I see increase in velocity. Suppose I have gone from the solid surface to a distance L, or suppose Y. So I have gone a distance in upward direction, suppose the distance is Y, and what I see is that, as we know that in upward direction velocity is increasing, and I see that when I go from 0 to y distance, then I see increase in velocity by 0 to v. Suppose this is the velocity at this point. Velocity here, the velocity here, the velocity is suppose v. So at y distance, increase in velocity is v, velocity will be v. If I go by 1 unit distance, then velocity will be increased by v upon y unit. If I go 5 units suppose, then velocity will increase by 5 into v upon y. Means this is the increment per unit distance upward. If I go y distance in upward direction from the solid boundary, then I see that velocity has increased from 0 to v. Means that in y distance, velocity increased by v amount. In 1 unit distance, if I go upward, then increase in velocity will be v upon y. And arbitrarily, suppose I go in upward direction by 5 unit, then increase in velocity will be 5 into v upon y. So this is for just example. So what I see here that this v upon y is giving me the increase in velocity in upward direction. So this is what we call is that velocity gradient. This is what we call velocity gradient, that is v upon y. Velocity gradient gives us the increase in velocity in y direction, so in transverse direction, in upward direction. So this v upon y is what we call velocity gradient. So this is velocity gradient, that is v upon y. This is velocity gradient. Remember, this velocity, what velocity? This is not free stream velocity. This is the velocity at y distance from the solid surface. This is increase in velocity per unit height, and this is known as velocity gradient, right? And what we see is that this velocity gradient v upon y depends upon viscosity. This velocity gradient depends upon viscosity. Viscosity simply means it is resistance. It is occurring to stop the flow, to reduce the velocity. This is viscosity. So velocity gradient depends upon viscosity. More the viscosity is more, then v upon y will be less, because it will try to reduce the velocity. So we will have something like this. Suppose this is solid boundary, and this is our first layer, this is second layer, this is third layer, and this is fourth layer. So this should be like this if the viscosity is more, because viscosity is trying to push back, and in other words, it is trying to reduce the velocity. So ultimately, viscosity, this velocity gradient depends upon viscosity. So we can write that what we can write that viscosity, which is viscosity which is denoted by mu, viscosity which is denoted by mu is depends upon velocity gradient, velocity gradient and how it is depending. Let me write viscosity depends on velocity. Okay, let me rewrite this. Viscosity which is denoted by mu depends upon or let me write in this way, that velocity gradient depends upon viscosity, means resistance, indirectly. Velocity gradient depends upon viscosity indirectly. So this upon this, if viscosity is more, then velocity gradient will be less. So viscosity and velocity gradient are indirectly proportional. What I am trying to say is that velocity gradient and viscosity are indirectly dependent. Let us see another aspect. This velocity gradient also depends upon shear force. This velocity gradient also depends upon shear force. This velocity gradient also depends upon shear force or pressure across the fluid, or simply in a more proper way, velocity gradient also depends upon shear force applied, because we know that if I want to make a fluid flow, then shear force must be applied. When shear force is applied, then the fluid will flow. And the very basic definition of a fluid is that it is a substance which deforms continuously upon the application of shear force. So when shear force is applied, the fluid flows. Also, so velocity gradient also depends upon the shear force. More the shear force, and how this shear force applied. Suppose this is the solid boundary, and suppose initially there is a fluid or liquid, suppose, and what I am doing is that, suppose this is another plate, and in between these two plates there is fluid, and I am moving in this direction with a force F, suppose by a velocity v. I am pulling the top plate with a velocity v with a force F, and because of this what happens is that this takes place. This goes like this way. this goes like this one, right? So this shear force F upon area of that plate, right? Suppose this is a plate, and suppose this is a plate, and I am applying force here, and in between these two plate, one is stationary and another is moving with a force F upon the with the velocity v over application of force F. So this velocity gradient also depends on shear force, because more the shear force, more quicker or more fast this layer will go in this direction. More speed if I apply the force, very high force, and if I pull this plate, this bottom top plate with a very high velocity, then the molecules just below this plate, top plate, will have this almost same velocity, means the velocity will here be equal to the velocity of the plate. So there will be very high velocity. So what I see is that velocity gradient also depends upon shear force applied. So, and it is directly proportional to v upon y. So though they both are interrelated and directly proportional. Here velocity, what we see is that velocity gradient and viscosity are indirectly dependent, and here directly dependent. So if I write the equation, like this, that F upon A is equal to mu v upon y. If I write a equation like this, then both the relationship mentioned above satisfied. Both the relationship I have just mentioned above satisfied. Shear force is directly proportional to the velocity gradient, and velocity gradient and viscosity are indirectly dependent, right? So shear force, I can write this relationship in this mathematical form. So shear force is directly is equal to mu into v upon y. So this equation is known as Newton's law of viscosity. Newton's law of viscosity. This equation is known as Newton's law of viscosity. This very equation is known as Newton's law of viscosity. And how it is coming? We have just discussed, right? First, that velocity gradient we first understood, and how velocity gradient is dependent on the viscosity, that is resistance force, and how velocity gradient is dependent on the shear force applied. So this law is known as Newton's law of viscosity. And if I define Newton's law of viscosity, if I define in a proper way, it will be the rate of let me write in this way. The shear stress is directly proportional shear stress is directly proportional to the rate of shear strain, and this strain. This is very important, that you have to mention this word, rate. The shear stress is directly proportional to the rate of shear strain, not shear strain. Shear stress is directly proportional to the rate of shear strain. Shear stress is directly proportional to the rate of shear strain when the temperature is constant. Temperature is constant, because when temperature changes, then viscosity will be changing, right? So we have to mention that the shear stress is directly proportional to the rate of shear strain provided the temperature is constant. So this word is very important. This word is very important. Sometimes you will see that the shear stress is directly proportional to the shear strain, and this is very wrong. Newton's law of viscosity always deals with the rate of shear strain. Why it is why this word rate is important? Let me see. Let me show you. Right? Let me show you. From this, we have seen that shear stress is directly proportional to V upon Y. There is velocity gradient, right? Velocity gradient. Now we are going to see that why this rate is important and why this rate is coming. Suppose this is a velocity profile. Suppose this is a velocity profile in a fluid flow, and suppose this is theta. Suppose this is theta, and this is y, and this is v velocity. This much velocity is v at a distance 1, and this is theta. If I take tan theta, if I take tan theta, then it will be v upon y. But this is dimensionally incorrect. This is dimensionally incorrect because tan theta will give you a number. Tan theta will give you a number, and it should be dimensionless. Here let me show you the dimension of the v, that is meter per second, and here meter. So meter cut, but here it is second remained. So to cancel out the second, we have to multiply a time factor t. So the unit of time is s, so this s and this s will be cancelled out. So what we have seen that, so tan theta is equal to v upon y into t. So if I take this t here, so it will be tan theta by t. And also for when theta is very small, when theta is very small, we can write tan theta as theta. So theta upon t is equal to v upon y. Theta upon t is equal to v upon y. So this theta by upon t can be written in place of v upon y. So if I write this equation again, Newton's law of viscosity, A is equal to mu. So instead of v upon y, we can write theta upon t, and this is known as shear strain, rate of shear strain. Theta is known as shear strain. The angle it has just moved, and t, that is time factor. So if I divide theta by time factor, then it will give the rate of shear strain, not only shear strain. So rate of shear strain, and this rate of shear strain is equal to v upon y. We have just proved. So that is why in case of Newton's law of viscosity, Newton's law of viscosity, what we see is that okay, where did it go? Okay, so in case of Newton's law of viscosity, So there we can write that this shear stress is equal to mu into theta by t or mu into v upon y. So these both are valid because theta by t, rate of shear strain, is equal to v upon y, right? So this is Newton's law of viscosity, and I hope that you understood. Let me tell you one more thing which is very important, that what we have seen is that viscosity we have seen in case of liquid, how it is means affecting because of the attraction between the molecules. The honey was not able to go further away because honey molecules are attracted or resisted by its own molecules, and that is what we call cohesiveness. So in case of liquid, viscosity is due to that is resistance force is due to cohesiveness, and cohesiveness means the force between same molecule, but in case of gas, viscosity, that is in case of gas also, when gas is flowing, one layer of gas will be pulling back, or it will resist the motion of another layer, and that attraction, that resistance force is due to, that viscosity is due to molecular momentum transfer. How this molecular momentum transfer is occurring, how this molecular momentum transfer is taking place there in case of gas? Let me show you. Suppose there is a solid surface, and above it a fluid is flowing, means now a gas is flowing, right? In the gas also, when the velocity is less, then it will be laminar, right? Laminar means it will be flowing layer by layer. So because of friction, the first layer is stopped. The second layer is trying to move in this direction, but is attracted by the velocity is reduced by this layer, because of this layer. How this is happening, we will see in a bit. Let me draw the velocity profile. So in case of gas, how it is resisting. Suppose this layer, I have taken this layer and this layer. So between these two layers, what is happening, how it is, suppose this is first layer, second layer, third layer, and fourth layer, right? So this is second and third layer are taken into consideration. So in case of gas, the molecules will be there, here also molecules will be there, we know that in case of, we know from kinetic theory of gas, the average velocity of gas is equal to, directly proportional to temperature. Means that this is average velocity, and what average velocity means, that all the molecules in the layer 2, all the molecules are not moving with the same velocity, and not also they are moving in this direction, because this is a gas and gas will move in all direction, in all possible direction. Although the net velocity will be in this direction, and net velocity will be in this direction, and with a velocity of average velocity, right? Average velocity and average velocity. So the average velocity of this layer will be less than the average velocity of the third layer, so it will have more velocity. So as I said, the molecules will not be, all the molecules will not be moving in this direction. Some of the moving in this direction also, in this direction also, and here and there. But as a whole, if we see as a net effect, we will see that they are moving in this direction, right? So when this molecule, suppose these molecules are moving in here, right, and also from the molecules from this second layer moving in this direction, so there will be like this, there will be like this, there will be like this. So this molecule which has relatively lower velocity, relatively lower velocity than this molecule will go in that third layer, and what it will do, that it will make a collision with a molecule in the third layer, and will reduce the velocity of that molecule which is at third layer, right? So this molecular collision will reduce the velocity of the molecules of the third layer. At the same time, molecules will be coming from this third layer also, but as a whole, if we see that the molecule which are going from this second layer to the third layer will reduce the velocity of the third layer molecule because of collision. Momentum transfer will be there. So this is how the molecules are trying to molecules of second layer are trying to, or they are resisting the velocity or the molecules of the third layer, and as a result, the velocity is reduced. Again, this layer will resist this the fourth layer molecules, so ultimately we get a velocity gradient in y direction. So I hope you understood, and if you understood, then hit the like button and also subscribe for more videos like this, and I will be coming with more such videos, more such interesting videos, right? And when you subscribe, also press the bell icon so that you get the notification when I upload the video, right? And thank you, have a good day, thank you very much.